Good morning, Africa. Welcome to another episode of The Conversation here on TOS TV Network, your digital first Pan-African network. And as you know, it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I hope you're prepared well for the weekend, the Valentine's weekend, actually. I am Ade Suwalsuyi, and we're going to go on a quick break. When I get back, I'll be taking you through stories and developments from across the African continent. Welcome back. Now we're going straight into developments from across Africa, starting from Sudan, where protests has erupted in Sudan over cost of living. Now, protests broke out Tuesday in a key port city, the restive Darfur region, and other parts of Sudan over the rising cost of living, witnesses and state media said. A new government team, including rival leaders, has been tasked with fixing an economy decimated by decades of U.S. sanctions, mismanagement, and civil war under now ousted President Omar al-Bashir. It also faces galloping inflation, chronic hard currency shortages, and a flourishing black market. Moving away from Sudan to Morocco, where Morocco's premier vowed sanctions after 28 people died when heavy rain flooded an illegal textile workshop in a basement, reviving a debate on work conditions in the North African country. Authorities in Tangier said that 28 bodies, mostly of women, had been pulled out of the factory in a residential area of the northern port city. The victims were trapped with no way to get out and drowned, said senior fire and rescue service official Abarahim Kabaj. This was reported that 28 people had died. The MINUSMA chief firmly condemns the attack and has ordered that all measures be taken to treat the wounded, Salgado said. Deployed since 2013, the United Nations currently has over 14,000 peacekeepers in Mali. That's quite sad, actually. I hope we don't get to see that kind of development in Morocco anytime soon. Now moving over to Senegal, where the Senegalese army said on Tuesday it took 3 rebel bases in the restive southern region Casamance and recovered weapons during an offensive launched in the late January after a month of a lull in the long-standing conflict. Officers of the Senegalese army took the press for a rare visit to 2 of these cantonments, shelters of tin and wood scattered under tall trees in the forest of Blaise and sheltering some kind of buried bunkers that can shelter a few people. The surrounding of these bases were punctuated with burnt surfaces, traces of the fighting, according to Senegalese authorities or officers. Now, for COVID-19 stories, COVID-19 related stories in Africa, Tunisian hospitals grapple with surge in COVID-19 cases. Now, health workers in Tunisia are under immense pressure to treat and save COVID-19 patients as cases soared during the country's severe second wave. In Sousse, a city 150 kilometers south of the capital, Tunis, doctors and nurses at the Farhat Hajed University Hospital said lessons had been learned from the initial phase of how to treat coronavirus patients. But the overwhelming workload combined with a shortage of staff was making life much harder this time around. Nurses deal with 17 or 18 patients a day, sometimes without a break, according to Sadok Kadir, supervisor of the emergency services at the hospital. And I think that's one condition or situation that most African countries are faced with, such shortage of health personnel, and then we're having to have so many coronavirus patients or so many patients to deal with, so they're kind of congested. And I hope something can be done about that real soon. Now that is, developments across Africa, I'm going to go on another break, and during that break, I'm going to be bringing you COVID-19 cases from across Africa. That's our COVID-19 update for this morning. Welcome back. That was a COVID-19 update from across Africa. Over 3.7 million cases. I think yesterday was about 3.6 million, and now we have an increase in cases and almost 100,000 deaths. That is quite sad, and that is very discouraging. Wear your mask, people. Wear your mask. Take precautions. You know, proper hygiene at this period. We need to beat COVID, and to do that, you have to take precautions really seriously. Now, moving over to the newspaper headlines from this morning, I'm going to starting with the Daily Sun. And the very obvious headline on the Daily Sun this morning: anxiety, tension over Occupy Lekki tollgate protest in Lagos. Will not tolerate any protest, says the federal government. Lagos CP warns protesters, insists protest planned by subversive elements. That is in regards to the plan, Lekki tollgate. You know, the developments because since the Lekki tollgate was has been opened for business, Nigerians or youth across Lagos have said, no, we have to have these cases trashed out before anything can start happening. So some persons have planned to go and protest, and the federal government is saying, we're not having it, no protest. So guys, please, we don't want any casualties, so please, thank you very much. Moving over to the top of the Daily Sun: Buhari government, Kanu, PDP, APC, others pay tribute as ex-Lagos Governor Jakande dies at 91. That's the first governor of Lagos State, Lateef Jakande. He passed on at 91. Why we are yet to unfreeze Enter's campaigners' bank account, says Malami. I think there was directive to unfreeze, you know, sponsors and protesters of the NSAS account, and then this one, the Malami is saying or is giving you reasons why their accounts are yet to be frozen. So if you want to get that story, if you want to read more on that story, it's on page 6 of the Daily Sun. Herders, farmers clash, government resolve to fast-track ranching. Right under that, as would or term, that's the Benue State government writes, Buhari fears Nigeria's breakup. That's on page 7 and 8 of the Daily Sun. Anambra Guba, that's on the election. We haven't disqualified or excluded any aspirants. That's coming from the People's Democratic Party. And that's on page 26 of the Daily Sun. United Nigeria Airlines get AOC, holds inaugural fight today. And then just under the picture of the day on the Daily Sun: no going back on Southeast Joint Security, vows General Umahi. Ohaneze backs governor on open grazing ban in Southeast. Kaduna takes innovative step in fight against COVID-19, deploys drones to deliver vaccine. That's very impressive, actually. Now moving over to the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning, and starting with the quite number of obvious headlines. Jakande dies at 91 for burial today. And then the rider under that: Buhari, Obasanjo, governors, Awolowo family, Afenifere, Tinubu, Atiku, Oshoba, NPA, and IPI, others pay tribute. And then there's a note that the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, he served this nation principally through journalism and through newspaper management before becoming an active politician. It must not be forgotten that he served as an editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Tribune at a stage in his career where he acquitted himself as a positively minded, focused, and imaginative personality. And then Banji Akintoye, still talking about Jakande. The megalopolis that Lagos has become was started within 4 years under his reign. He built almost all the Lagos legacy projects and institutions you can think of today. He was planner and original builder of Alausa, Magodo, and Lekki districts. He built at Besson, the largest estate in West Africa in Ikpaja, Ayobo area. He never sought to enrich himself. That is on pages 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Under that, banditry, governors agreed to end open grazing. Climate change forcing herdsmen into Nigeria, migrating down south. That's coming from Ganduje. Autumn Rights Buhari says push for justice, equity, not fight against Fulani. That's coming from the Benue State government. 4,000 herders from south have arrived in Kaduna. SEMA is saying that suspected herders killed 2 in Ogun State. Invasion of my home by herder, police lied. That's coming from Professor Wole Soyinka. Insecurity, we are completely unsafe. That's coming from the Afenifere, page 15, 16, and 26 of the Nigerian Tribune carries those stories. Now, moving to the top of the Nigerian Tribune, cryptocurrency, Senate summons CBN, governors, SEC Director General. Buhari offers automatic employment scholarship to 110 ex-core members. That is very encouraging. No protest tomorrow. Federal government, Lagos government, police warn Occupy Lekki protestants. That's on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. And the last headline of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, 101-year-old woman survives COVID-19 at OAU THC. That's on page 25. That is, I don't know, that's very, 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 very impressive, because they always say older people cannot survive the virus, the infection. When you're infected with COVID-19, your age is a determining factor. And she's 101 and she survived it. Now, moving over to the Daily Trust this morning, still has Lateef Kayode Jakande as the picture of the day. Says Lateef Kayode Jakande from 1929 to 2021. Story on page 21 of the Daily Trust. Under that, Ganduje to federal government, ban foreign headers now. Headers bear arms to protect themselves, says the Bauchi government. Bauchi governor is saying headers carry arms to actually protect themselves. And that Buhari not in charge. Soyinka is saying probably that the President Muhammad Buhari administration or President Muhammad Buhari himself does not, have a control over the farmer headers classes. Leave Southwest or face OPC, Gani Adams. If you remember Gani Adams, I think he was the leader of the Odua People's Congress for the longest time. I don't know if he's still the leader now, but he's saying that he's asking the headers to leave the Southwest or face the Odua People's Congress. We're ready for registration, Miyeti Allah. That is on page 5, I think, page 5 of the Daily Trust this morning. Under that, protest hits Lagos Abeokuta Expressway as vehicle kills female student. Very, very sad development. Buhari rewards 110 ex-core members with jobs and scholarships. Doctors exodus, they leave, we die. That's quite interesting. I think that's on page 3 of the Daily Trust. So if you're interested in that story, very catchy headline, you should get yourself a copy of the Daily Trust. Police probe abuse, torture of girls in Bauchi. Police arrest 41 kidnappers, others in Oyo State. Confusion over explosion at Rivers PDP Secretariat. And Occupy, that's hashtag Occupy Lekki Tollgate. Federal government vows to crush fresh protestants. That's how the Daily Trust puts it this morning. So if you're planning a protest, do not do it, because the federal government is saying do not protest. Please be careful. Be careful. Be careful. That's all I am going to say this morning. Moving over to the Daily Times this morning. The very gaping headline on the Daily Times say ex-ministers, erstwhile Daily Times editor, statesman Momo buried. Statesman Momo was buried today, and the picture of the day carries, I think, during the funeral. It's good to see everyone adhering to COVID-19 protocols right there. And then on the issue of insecurity, Wole Soyinka relieves experience with herdsmen at Abeokuta home. Ban on grazing, governors ban open grazing and OK's ranching. That's the stories on page 3 of the Daily Times this morning. And still on the herdsmen crisis, power should shift to south. It's wrong to equate Miyetti with Fulani, says Arawa youths. That's quite interesting. And then just at the top of the Daily Times this morning, Buhari, Obasanjo, others mourn Jakande. That's the first governor of Lagos State that passed on yesterday. Moving over to the News Direct, federal government, Lagos prohibits hashtag Occupy Lekki Tollgate protest. Organizers adamant. I think the protest is planned for tomorrow, and I hope we don't get to experience any casualty as what we saw the last time during the NSAS protest. So I'm just going to implore everyone to be careful. Be careful, that's what I'm going to say. Then under the picture of the day, herdsmen killed 2 again in Ogun community. Abiodun vows to deal with perpetrators, deploys task force to troubled areas. And under that, federal government approves National ICT Park. That I am very, very, very happy about, and I'm very interested in that story. So if you're like me and you're interested in that story, which get it on page 2 of the News Direct this morning. Nigeria targets 30% power supply from renewables by 2030. That's coming from the Vice President of Nigeria, Yomi Osinbajo. On top of the News Direct, Buhari, Sanwo-Olu, Abiodun, Oyetola, NPA and others mourn as Jakande dies at 91. Buhari announces automatic employment and scholarship to 110 ex-corps members. And then the last one says, EcoBank Nigeria announces pricing of senior unsecured $300 million bond. That is the story on the Nigerian News Direct this morning. And then the last daily I'm going to be looking at this morning is the business day for people who are interested in business and economy and everything of that nature. This one appeals to you. So I'm going to start with a very gaping headline. Tales of living in a congested mega city. Tales of living in a congested mega city. That is a very obvious headline on the business day this morning. And then on top of that, we have federal government reforms breathe life into power sector, improves liquidity. Disco's 65 billion naira collection in a month, highest ever. I think with the increase in the electricity tariff, I think that's why we're seeing that increase. 65 billion naira is what the Disco's collected in 1 month, the highest ever recorded. And then MasterCard joins League of Institutions pushing cryptocurrency. So if you're interested in all of that stories or any of the story that any of the headline from any of the dailies that I read out this morning, get yourself a copy of any or all of those dailies. And if you're not interested in the hard copy, you can get it online, the e-copy, or you could look at the stories up on our website at www.tostvnetwork.com. And that is the newspaper review for this morning. I'm going to go on a quick break. When I get back, I'll be taking you through what's trending on social media.
TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, and the budget they look. Some they sleep. They're going to ask how much you are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osasu Igboneja, and I am the People's Journalist.
Welcome back, and now on to my favorite segment of the program. That's what's trending. Yes, I like to bring you trends, social media trends, because it gets me talking and it gets me, in my feelings. Okay, so as I always say, every day when you go to social media and you just check the trend table, there's something to be taken away. Either something that makes you think, something that makes you laugh, something that makes you wonder how people can actually come up with that kind of thought or write-ups like that or thinking. Like, you get to wonder, what were they thinking when they came up with stuff like that? So I'm going to be reading some of those tweets here for you. So the first one is by Shy Dude 03. He says, why is abbreviation such a long word? But really, why is abbreviation such a long word? Because when you abbreviate something, you make it shorter. So why is the word abbreviation actually very long? Why is it such a long word? And it got me thinking, I mean, why is abbreviation such a long word, really? And then this one at Fames_VV. If you're a retired military personnel, you're not allowed to tint your hair another color, practically because old soldiers never die. I've heard that phrase over and over. I think from when I was a kid up until now, I keep hearing old soldiers never die, and I never knew what it meant, but this kind of puts a perspective to it. Like, yeah, old soldiers never die. Okay. And then this one is, Sunday is Valentine's Day, and there's been lots of, back and forth about what to do on Valentine's Day when you have a boo or you don't have a boo. So this guy at Yoruba__ says, bros, even if you can't take boo out on Valentine's Day, invite her over, lock the door, throw away key, make another man no go carry your babe come out. I mean, that's an advice. So it's like, if you don't want to lose your girlfriend or on Valentine's Day it's another man because you don't have the resources to maybe, show her special love on Valentine's Day, you guys can just stay together so nobody gets to take your girlfriend or your lover away from you. And that is the most you can take on the social media trends this morning. I will begin in another break. Yes, a quick one. When I get back, it's time to take you on the big story today, Friday.
North to South Africa, East to West Africa, TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.tostvnetwork.com and follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Watch us on television, channel 138 on TSTV Africa.
Welcome back to the conversation here on TOS TV Network, your digital first Pan-African network. It's time for the big story. But before we get into that, you'd have noticed that throughout the show, I've been having to do the show alone because Osaza wasn't here. Well, now he has finally showed up, so it's going to be taking us through the big story this morning.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to the big story here on the conversation on your digital first Pan-African news network. Of course, you already know my name is Osaza. Now it's time for us to go into the big story. We're looking at something very interesting today. COVID-19, a look at Nigeria's Nollywood amidst coronavirus pandemic. Now, popularly known as Nollywood, Nigeria's film industry is said to be the world's second largest producer of movies, and it employs more than 1 million people and produces about 50 films every week. All right. Now, but because of the COVID-19, there's been a halt in film and TV production, costing an estimated tens of millions of dollars in lost earnings. Now, joining us this morning on the show to explain the pandemic's impact on the industry is an actor and filmmaker, Ray Adeka. Ray, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, let's just go straight into the conversation. What has it been like for you as a creative, going through the lockdown and the pandemic?
Well, it was as expected. The lockdown affected everybody, but for entertainers generally, not just actors or filmmakers, of course. For instance, people that have to work on theater and stage, that was even worse than ours, But I think something that came out of it was the ability for people to get even more creative. you now have to be like a one-man show. People were stuck in their houses. People started to use Instagram, TikTok, kicked off seriously that period, you know. So it was bad, of course, but we found a way to survive, so to say. So here and there, but it was rough, but we found a way to survive with new, you know, YouTube and the rest of them. So.
So, but personally, saying you found a way to survive, personally, how did you handle it? Because I know that there was no filming, there was no going on set, everything was put on pause, and that was the life that you know you knew. So having to now put all of that on hold and say we found a way. How did you find a way? What's the way you found?
For me, well, almost everybody became a comedian. So I think I took that route for a bit and found out it wasn't for me. Everybody was funny at some point, you know, and I actually did wait it out. Did a bit of studying, soul searching, then a spiritual journey, you know, whatever you can do to cope with that period. And hungry to get back on set. But it was excruciatingly painful. I will not even lie, you know.
Did you lose finances? Like,
did I lose? There's no work, so you're just hoping that what you have will take you into past the period of loss. Of course we lost the money. Even as an actor, you will lose. As a filmmaker, there's nothing to do at that period. We just waited, practically, just waiting.
Okay.
So it was rough. It was very rough.
Okay, so but how is it now? Because I know the cinemas were shut down, and so people couldn't actually do cinema movies. But at this time, I think they found a way to, you know, balance it out. Because I see Nollywood movies grossing so much. It was as though we were waiting, and then
Funny enough, okay, first of all, online platforms just kicked off. We have the Netflix and the rest of them. We really kicked off. People that had content saved already could, you know, put them out there. And then for the cinema, that was my major fear. I even felt that it would take a while for people to still get back to that cinema culture. Yeah. But surprisingly, I guess people were really, really bored. They just wanted to get out of their houses. So the moment they eased the lockdown, cinemas were open, people just amazingly just, you know, went back, which I didn't think would happen. I thought people were a bit too scared, you know, to like. But it didn't happen that way, so I'm very grateful for that, of course.
Okay. So. And you've gone back on set, haven't you?
Yeah, no, immediately they eased the lockdown. I won't say it was the best thing to do, but we tried to take, we did take precautions. We did take precautions, but it kind of like got to a point where you say, okay, would you rather die or rather die? So like, let me die, try and make money. But no, we did take precaution. We'll go back on set, of course, and job. We are a bit more careful now. You know, with there are new normals. You know, try to be a bit more. Once you're colleague coughs, of course, kissing scenes. You have to. Are you sure
So because I know there's a second wave of COVID, but we don't have that lockdown that we had during the first wave, and so you can still do filmings and stuff like that. So how do you manage precautions, and especially in the time of the second wave of the pandemic, that's actually they say is more deadlier than the first one?
No, if I were to be honest, then that's where the problem is. Like I feel one of the biggest problems we have in this our era is misinformation. Okay. One, there's the part of people, there are people who still don't believe that it's COVID. They believe it's a scam. You know, and so now you have to deal with those kind of people as you know. The people just feel the government is trying to siphon money and all of that. So we're battling with both. But you as an individual who, not because it's not like a cult or some kind of a sect. I am the four, I believe. Have to do your own due diligence to make sure you are safe. You know, but you can't. Till now, people still have this comment like there's nothing like that. You know, it's a lie. And so we're dealing with a loss right now. But you have to do your own part as trying to protect yourself. You know, so that's basically it's on you. The set will do the one they can. Okay. But imagine you're on set and maybe the production house is one of those people who don't believe there is corona. You don't like, okay, I forget that thing. But let's move on. You know? Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. Now away from COVID-19, can you just quickly give us an overview of what the Nollywood industry has been so far? Like, you know, that kind of innovative stuff that has been going on.
I'm so proud of Nollywood right now. Like, I see some trailers of some movies and I'm like, I can't swear on this. Like, I'm like really so excited. Like, it's where the industry is going is where the music industry, as regards production. I'm not stories, of course, but I'm saying quality of film, not just quantity. No, the industry is kind of, let's not get into that, but it's kind of segmented. There's this part of it and there's that part of it. But I'm talking about the progressive part of Nollywood.
Yeah.
There's the kind of movies coming out, the big budget movies coming out, the amount of technicalities and, you know, it's just amazing. The industry is tremendously growing and I'm very proud to be part of it right now, like than I've ever been in my life.
Okay, talking about the industry growing, because I know that oftentimes when I speak to people, I know Nollywood has over time made use of online platforms like Netflix. We have so many Nollywood movies on Netflix, but there's some people that are of the opinion that Nollywood is not ready for that growth yet. And then and the defendant would say, I've seen so many shabby Nollywood movies on. I'm like, why are you guys putting Nigeria in a bad light, you know, on stuff like that? So what is your reaction to that?
People will talk. People will talk. I feel the Netflix thing coming to Nigeria right now, it's a huge one. With time, the bad ones will just fall off. Okay. Yeah, I do agree. There are some like, okay, how did this even get on this platform? But again, I'm happy it did get on. I'm not going to look at it just from the negative part of like you're embarrassing, so to say. But with the fact that there are also very good ones there. I've seen fantastic movies there, you know, and yeah, eventually, in a way, maybe the bar, I don't know how they made their decision, but maybe the bar was a bit set low, like maybe their movies are not that good. But with time, when with the kind of movies that are coming and the ones that are already there, now it's going to be, if it's not up to a particular standard, Netflix is already financing original movies in Nigeria, right? Like, sponsored by them. So very soon I know you will see less of those kind of films. But they're always going to be bad films, no matter. Even Hollywood make horrible films. I've seen terrible CGIs in some films. Like, what is this? You know, so I beg you, should just cut off some slack.
We should let you guys relax.
Yeah,
but you know, like, this is our own film industry.
Yeah.
So when there's something that we're not very, you know, cool, comfortable with coming out, we feel like, no, don't put us out like that. Yeah, just understand that kind of thing. So yeah, I think you guys should bear with us when we do that.
Okay, yeah, we should both excuse each other for now at this point. Okay, yeah, we get you guys to please get us, you know. But it's getting better, trust me.
Okay, let's dive a little bit into your own personal journey in the industry. How did you really get started?
I was in Abuja, pushing my thing, and then I do a monologue. I post online, and then I get a call, and it was Ufoma McDermott, and then she was like, it was for her stuff though, but she called me and like, I saw your monologue, was good. Can you come? She thought I was in Lagos. Can you come on set? It's another job I'm trying to get you on. I'm like, well, I'm not in Lagos, I'm in Abuja. She, oh, and I heard her say, I'm in Abuja. But I can come to Lagos, no issue, you know? Yeah. And then she says, okay, we're still talking, like, but I'm like, okay, when can I come? We need you like today. Like, what? Today, like now? Next minute, somebody snatches the phone, like, what are you even saying? This is Uche Jumbo. You are not coming. What? I was like, Uche Jumbo. That was like my first time speaking to her. She's like, if you don't come, it's a supporting role. If you are not here, I'll give some. I'm coming. Like, you have to enter night bus. I rushed to book the flight that day, went to Lagos, and that's how it started. Like, that's how it actually started for me. I have been pursuing it, but Abuja, as of then, was not so vibrant with films. So that was like my major. I got on set. I played Uche Jumbo's husband. It was quite big, and then I'm seeing stars that I've never met in my life. So I was a bit starstruck and a bit in my shell. I was like, where do you start from? But that was the beginning for me. Like, I knew that I had a future in this. So
let's come down home to Abuja. What is the film industry like in Abuja?
No, it's way better now. Like, there are big names here now. I can call names. Papel, there's Dimbo, there's Bright Wonder. There are people who are doing good films here. Okay. Like, really, but there have been, like, some of them are kind of like, they just became like more popular now. But the industry is way better now. Like, I do a lot of jobs here in Abuja, and I'm like, what happened to these jobs when I was here? You know, and there are big productions going on here right now. I've done a couple of big productions here. Okay. So yeah, it's better than it used to be, way better than it used to be. Like, the growth has been like really like a huge leap. So yeah, Abuja is better now.
So what would you say, if there's one thing or maybe two that should be put in place to actually, you know, give Nollywood a leap that you feel like it should have? Yeah, what would you say should be put in place?
Well, it's the money aspect, of course. They have to be better channels for people to be able to recoup their money. Okay. I also make films, so I know I have been on the other side of it, and I know the negotiations can be a bit tight sometimes. The filmmakers have to struggle to you make your money, but it should be better than that. So if they can, there are a lot that can be done to just make the industry much more vibrant. So people people are in a hurry to invest, because you know that I will make my money here. It's not a gamble. It's not a child's play. So people think it's not just film. No, it's a business, a proper business.
Yes.
It's like you have in Hollywood. There are people who they are muggles for movies. They just invest in film. That's all they do, or that's part of what they do. So people need to understand that. So if the government can come in with understanding how important the industry is, it's one of I feel it's the highest employer of labor right now. It's Nollywood, so they are doing a lot. So the government can assist it with a lot of things, tax waivers for bringing in equipment. Because sometimes the taxes are ridiculous. Slashing some kind of just to get in some cameras, hard disk and things like that can really help with the industry. So
how about locations?
Oh, that's another thing. Locations are in Lagos, for instance. People understand the business quite, so it's easier to get locations in Lagos, but you have to pay.
Okay.
In Abuja, Abuja is the easy. In Abuja is like maybe you don't have agberos, of course, harassing you, and you can just shoot anywhere and nobody comes to disturb you. Lagos is not that way. Once they see a camera, they are you drop something on our ground. It's ridiculous, But again, in Abuja, people don't really understand film so much. So if you're trying to get some houses that I don't know if Antolapo shoot in my house, but in Lagos it's easier than people just get it. You can a very big house like someone, and maybe a very prominent man would be willing to. But here, Senator Dino Malaya actually allows people to shoot in his house a lot, so I think people should be like him more.
Okay, do you have before we let you go, any closing statement, anything you want to say, anything you want to put out there?
Well, let's just be. This is what I look in the camera and I give them this. This is about I give them this deep monologue. Just be kind, please. Let's be kind to each other. Let's just be kind. Let's be nice. Let's try and be nice. The world is rough right now, so if you can be nice with your words, please do that. Please, that's all.
Okay, all right, that's too much we can take on the big story this morning. I'm going to leave Osaze to just take you through the rest of the show.
All right, we've been speaking with Ray Adeka, actor and filmmaker in Nigeria's Nollywood, and has been taking us through what the pandemic has been like, in the industry, and of course some wonderful insights, as to what the Nollywood industry is all about. We'd like to get your thoughts. We'd like you to share your thoughts with us on our Twitter page at TOS TV Network. Let us know what you think about what we've discussed today on The Big Story. Do also to follow us on our Facebook page, on Twitter, on Instagram at TOS TV Network. Our website is always there, www.tostvnetwork.com, for news on politics, development, business, entertainment, and lots more. All right, until we come your way again next week for another exciting package of the conversation, I'm Osaze Isesele.
And I'm Adesa Welsi. Thank you for joining the show.